Hello, good evening, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining from in the world. I'm Fulvia, and I'm here for another talk about the journey to the tarot. We are going through the major arcana. We are seeing mainly is not about the meaning, um, it's not about the meaning of them. Hello June Pino, thank you for joining. Is not about the meaning of the major arcana. What I feel this evening to clarify one thing. What I'm going through is mainly the different traditions that are, embedded in the major arcana, and how any different tradition, what they brought in, into the into the major arcana. Basically, I'm not trying, what I'm trying to do is basically is highlighting, he's talking about the traditions embedded, and not giving a meaning for the major arcana, because still, I'd rather reading uh, the tarot deck, the tarot, or an oracle deck, using the intuition. But because of um, because of the many traditions that have been molded together in the Rider Waite, to me, it's really interesting to go through these things, and also, um, yes, at the same time, something can uh, come come up um, come up to you in a reading, um, and having that, giving that value, um, on what you are picking up. For sure, the intention is not to put together an analytical, left side of the brain reading. Absolutely not. It's interesting to know how, to me, this deck came together, and how these different traditions. Hello, Barbara. Thank you for joining. How these different traditions have been put together to give to give a meaning um, to the major arcana and the rest of the deck, of course. Because if you think about it, when someone reads using a tarot deck, uh, the meaning, still the meaning that is used, is the one. Sorry, Barbara, no, I'm not doing readings right now. The meaning that is given is the basic one, the one, the very, the basic one. So mine is, my intention was different when I started doing this thing, and then it went totally in a different direction. And I'm glad, actually. I'm glad because I'm learning and I hope that you can take something from this as well, and of course take what you feel is useful to you and leave what is not. um okay, last week I covered the chariot. Then I got to the point where there was the link between I was talking about the link between the chariot and the strength, which is between the chariot represents um, the will, the strength of the will force. And instead, hello, hello Carla, hello, thank you for joining. Instead, the strength represents the inner strength, while the chariot is the will that is basically related to the outer world. um, the strength instead is is about the inner. Sorry, Carla, I'm not doing readings. The strength instead is about our inner strength that then is directed to the outer world, whether the chariot is the willpower, the person that has willpower, the confidence. And so, but to finish with the strength here, I had to stop last week because there was a lot to say about the chariot. And we um, continue about this strength. um we were talking about the power and um, uh, of the strength card. And you see, last thing I remember, hi Anna, how are you? Hi, thank you for joining. um Last thing I remember saying about, if I remember correctly, by the way, is about, you see the woman that is petting the lion, nearly like, the lion seems like, looks like, she's petting a dog. And she's very calm. And so this is her calmness that comes, you know she's so calm and so strong that she can tame um, her inner lion. Oh, oh my gosh, Anna, I can't believe it. Thank you. Now I'll be more um, okay. On a psychological level, on a psychology point of view, um, the power represented by this major arcana, um, this is embodies two kind of power, the which has we are still into the we encounter the duality and the polarity and duality in this card as well. So the masculine force of control, and the feminine. sorry, and the feminine qualities of of intuition, spontaneous emotion, um, which in this case are not seen like weaknesses. And mm, because um, these emotions are are expressed with calmness and are expressed with love, and basically by the expressing these emotions, expressing these emotions with calmness and love requires requires strength. Um, and we find another, the strength card, the major arcana here is linked to the magician, because both have uh, above their head the symbol of the infinity symbol. um, and another, the woman's, the woman depicted here reminds also, she reminds also the empress. If you look at her, the way she's dressed, the crown of with flowers that she has on her head, and the belt flower, according to weight, to it's not visible, really visible in this one, but according to weight, the belt flower goes around her waist and around the lion. So it's another symbol of, another symbol of infinity. And um, the Hebrew letter that um, is assigned to this arcana, is the letter Tet. I hope, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Um, and this letter in the Kabbalah refers, to snake, um, which means magic. Um, and in alchemy, the lion stands for gold, the sun, and sulfur. Um Sulfur is the lower element, and gold is is the highest. So basically, the process to go from sulfur to gold represents the transformation of the lower self into reaching and, trans- becoming, reaching the higher self and becoming the true self. Um, and with this major arcana, we see a person that acts powerfully, but in a calm way, and that's where, their strength reside, basically. Um, and that's the strength. Next card, we have the hermit, and this is also another very interesting interesting major arcana. Then when we get to the wheel, there's gonna be a lot to say about the wheel. Um, okay, the hermit. Um, More or less, the hermit is represented in the same way in all the decks. Not only there's not really a way uh, um, to represent the hermit. Anyway, this major arcana goes mm, into two different direction. Inward, so inward into ourselves, and outward into into the world. And first, first of all, the card represents a withdrawal from the outer world, um, mm, for the purpose to activate the unconscious mind. Um, and we see the um, two triangles, um, the two triangles that that together form the star in the lantern here. And one is the triangle, the symbol for water, and the other one is basically the symbol for um, the symbol for fire. And uh, historically, um, the the hermit was the figure, that the a figure, that was lived um, away from the world, sorry, away from the world, from um, withdrawn, could have been withdrawn in the woods, or in the desert. And we find in this figure um, could have been the figure showing the way, or a figure, a bearer of wisdom, or a teacher that would a teacher who would teach someone, who show them their way, and at the same time a bearer of wisdom. And this um, it's basically um, opposite opposite and contrary to church. In the European version of could be the European version of an ascetic yogi, um, that um, that get close to God through experience. Um, and though the hermit withdrew uh, uh, they withdrew from humanity, they always, they often, no, always and often, they give shelter. In the tradition, they give shelter to, to travelers, and um, the hermit is an example, and it's also a guide. Um, in the tradition, there's, for example, Ralph Waldo Emerson. Many philosophers and many ascetic, they tried to not imitate, take the figure of the hermit as an example, and followed um, followed the way, the way of living for a while. For example, the transcendental philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson traveled to Scotland um, to find the cabin of his friend Thomas Carlyle, and Thoreau himself. Thoreau lived in a cabin to find a sense of himself and of nature. Other philosophers like Nietzsche uh, also isolated themselves and then came back. Nietzsche came back with his work Zarathustra. I can't speak German. I'm sorry. I wish I could. Um, in in the Kabbalah um, tradition, instead, um, the Kabbalist Abraham Abulafia described three levels in the Kabbalah um, to reach the state of, of the hermit. The first one was the doctrine. The second one, guidance from a teacher, um, and the third one was basically um, the find basically the union with God. And Jung as well had his own take, sorry, his own saying about the figure of the hermit, and for Jung, it was represented with the archetype of the old man. And obviously, according to the psychologic on a psychological point of view interpretation, he and through studies, of course, he would see um, the hermit would be the therapist for the person, or the person um, could be driven by their dreams, where their unconscious becomes conscious. So in many cases, the dream the dream analysis proved um, that basically that the hermit could have been um, the therapist. And also, in addition to that, the hermit teacher, the unconscious, according to his theory, the unconscious recognizes the hermit teacher before the conscious does. Um, this is the theory, um, the theory of Jung. Um, then, if there are other information also, about the hermit, but things would have become too much intricate, too 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 complex. So I'm trying now to keep things, really to keep things simple. Um, um, the the hermit can be seen more, um, also, um, mm, as an emblem of personal development, rather than a guide. Because if we consider the sequence of the major arcana, the hermit appears after the strength card. So when let's say the novice, which is the fool, finds the strength to start the journey, this is when um, this is when the novice find the strength to start their personal development. Um, so the hermit represents the the idea that only by withdrawing from the outer world, uh, from from the outer world, we can develop and awaken the inner self, which makes sense, because how many people go on retreats nowadays. Mm, and there are like silent retreats. Those are very hard to do, but in the end, it's really, actually, I would love to do one of those, um, because it really puts you uh, in in contact of with yourself, or silent meditations, or as philosophers in the past did. It was more common, it was nearly normal in the past, doing isolate isolate themselves, from society, to seek for clarity, especially for artists, and I can understand. Uh, I can see the reason. So this is this is a way, following the path of the hermit is a way of self self discovering, and it's an important one along um, along the journey of discovery of self, and along the journey of of development. Um, and there are also those who see um, this major arcana like in two halves, um, like um, seeing the hermit like a period, a time of contemplation, uh, before the wheel of fortune, um, before the wheel spins. Mm, and when when we view the tarot um, in um, in the lines of the seven, the 3 7, um, how they were divided. They were divided by uh, Rachel Pollack. Um, we see also that this withdrawal, this withdrawal, and also the turning of the wheel are a vision, a vision towards a major goal. So it's like this time of contemplation, this time of withdrawal, is a time to preparation, um, a time of preparation towards something bigger, um, a preparation towards a goal, uh, that the novice, the fool, set set for himself. And if you think about it, um, makes sense. Um, let's go through the. If you see, the hermit stands, he stands tall. He is holding the lamp, and he's accompanying himself with a staff, no, more than a wand, and he stands on the on a peak, um, alone, um, which if you see the top near, it seems like he's standing on the top of a mountain, and there's snow on the top. It's it's cold, but the lantern here, the symbol of the lantern represents the wisdom that he carries, And in the Rider Waite deck, he holds the lantern um, outward in his hand. He doesn't cover the lantern with his cloak, which, if it was the case, that would have had another meaning. So in this case, the hermit is willing to share his wisdom with others. He's not holding back or hiding his wisdom. And um, um, and this staff, um, he leans on the staff, and mm, it can nearly be compared to the wand of the magician, um, but in a different way, um, in a different way. And then the hermit left, allowed the this hermit allowed um, mm, opened his mind to the world through the experience, through the direct experience. He has opened the mind to the world, not only to the internal world, but also to the external world. And because of this, his mind um, is is a rich is a rich mind, um, with love, with joy, um, and the love, and also the love of the spirit. But before each and every one of us, we can understand, um, we need to be in the silence. We need to be in the silence and experience, have a direct experience of this in the silence. And that's the inward experience of the hermit, withdrawing withdrawing himself from the world, to experience, um, to be by himself, to be by himself, and um, live in a silent world, uh, an alternative to the noisy world, to the day-to-day world, to the noisy world. Mm. And for example, another um, comparison that can be another tradition, and this is was also, I read it also in another book. um, Obviously, everything I say to you, I can't learn these things if not uh, from books, and because I'm not a trained shaman, so I don't know this. We can find this tradition also in shamanism. Uh, for example, hello Melanie, thank you for joining. For example, in in places like Siberia or um, mm, South South America, um, shamans, those who are mm, initiated to become shamans, they go alone um, in the wilderness to looking for their own guide, um, who will teach them how to heal, who will help them to heal and teach them how to heal. So there are many traditions that, um, to keep in consideration here, and the shamanic tradition is not the only one. It's not only present in this major arcana. Actually, um, the hermit is a transition. The main meaning, it's a transition. Um, you know, through meditation, uh, through um, psychic discipline, um, or analysis. What we what happens is that the the hidden parts of our psyche uh, start speaking. The unconscious, still the unconscious, it's like allowing um, those those hidden parts to speak to us. It becomes more fluid, more open, um, and then the later experiences, um, we experience a rebirth. You remember last week I was talking about the Jung theory about the persona. When we start shedding the persona, the construct of the persona, fear. We live in fear mode, uh, because shedding all the beliefs that we thought were true. It's scary. It's so scary that it feels like nearly dying. It's like, um, it can be compared to the process of the dark night of the soul, which is basically what we shed the old beliefs, and there's a rebirth of ourselves in our true self, basically. And it's a continuous work that that we have to do. But let's keep. Sorry, I digress. And mm, told you about, yes, the lantern, the symbol of the lantern. So mm, and the hermit is, as a teacher, he's willing to guide um, um, their student, uh, if they are willing to do what they are supposed to do, if they have the strength to do this work. It requires, of course, a lot of effort, and then at the same time discipline. Mm. Um, and the star, yes, the star can be either, um, you know either a symbol of the hermit as a teacher, or um, a light, mm, the light of the unconscious. um, so the light, to discover ourselves, that light that we need to discover who we are. And the two elements, water and fire, mm, have also another meaning. They also represent the male and the female. Still, there's uh, we encounter again the concept of duality, the concept of polarity in this major arcana too, which nowadays can be really, uh, can't be applied really anymore. This concept can be, um, skipped. And the stuff, as I was saying, um, you know it's not like the wand of the magician. It's a staff. And I don't know if it reminds you a little bit of the staff of the Lord of the Rings. So um, it's magic. This one as well is magic. um, but the hermit used the stuff as a support. And as I said before, used the stuff as a support. Um, so it basically could represent that the teacher that helps to open um, the inner awareness. So the teacher that help us to become um, aware of ourselves on a mm, inner level. And then there's also, uh, the 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 guidance on the outer outside level as well, but um, mostly the hermit is that guide that help us to become aware of ourselves. Mm, there, it can be seen also. There's It can be seen also with a link with the high priestess, because in the when we think about the high priestess, with her as well, there's a principle, there's a way of withdrawing to connect, um, to connect um, with the unseen world. And if you remember the characteristic of the high priestess is very psychic, very connected with herself. So, and here we have the the hermit who goes inward mainly, um, to connect with connect with the inwardly with himself, to gain that knowledge and that wisdom through the experience, and is not, you know um, and then is willing to pass that knowledge and that wisdom to others. And also, in addition to that, um, the both can be considered, both for the high priestess and for the hermit, at we need to um, we need to be willing to leave, the outside world for a period of time, or um, if you know or maybe retrieve, leave, the chaotic um, environment of a city, if we really want to work on ourselves. And if you think about it, many people who do spiritual work, they don't live in cities anymore, or they move um, outside. They move outside of the city. They move from the city. They look quiet, quieter places, countryside, seaside, um, places closer to nature, places that are um, that help to commune with nature, to find that balance, to ground, um, that allow to meditate, allow to find inspiration in what surround us, which would be very difficult in a noisy environment. And not because when you go, for example, if you live in a city and you go home, there's still, it's become, I guess, would be more difficult to shake off um, the noise of the day. Whereas, when you're living in a small town, a small village, yes, you still have your life, but it's I guess it's easier um, when we come back home. At least I find it a little bit easier here in the countryside. Um, um, and and basically, yes. Um, mm, the hermit. Um, the hermit teach us, and the meaning of it is either that we need the time to work on ourselves, and in order to do that we need a place and an environment that is conducive, and it can also um, you know depending, and again, this is not to give uh, a fixed meaning to the cards, because I always, and I do it myself, I read intuitively. um, uh, but we know that the hermit can also represent the need to go on a retreat, to go to um, uh, to be communing, more with nature, to work within ourselves, or it could be a teacher. Um, you're very welcome. Um, to look for a teacher that can guide us. Um, it depends. These are only suggestions, and again, I always encourage readings intuitively. But again, once you have acquired the knowledge, obviously follow your intuition. But if there's something, um, mm, you have a point of reference now, things that maybe you couldn't have picked up before intuitively, because with now everything is in your baggage of knowledge, and can intuitively can be picked up, and that's what's the purpose for me here. Not, you draw the cards and oh, this is means me, and doesn't mean anything to the person you are reading for, always follow your intuition. Um, but for example, if you feel that a person needs time alone, you know, could be an indication. This is an example. This is an example. Okay. Okay. Uh, thank you. Thank you very much for being here this evening, and I hope I hope that this is going to be useful somehow to you. And otherwise, it's only um, 1 hour watching. And thank you for being here, for supporting. So next Monday, the wheel is going to be big one, and then but I know that we have to. I'm trying to speed it up. It's only that each there are major arcana where there's really more to say, as opposed to others. The following three here we have next Monday. I will you know I have to cut on information. We will go through the wheel, the justice, and the hanged man. This three. Okay. Um, oh, thank you. Well, trying to do my best. At times I feel that it's more interesting for me than for those who watches. But anyway, again, take what you feel resonates with you, and leave all the rest. Okay. Thank you to those who came to watch the live, and I'll see you next Monday at 8 o'clock UK time, and on I'll see you then on Saturday evening at 9 o'clock UK time for the mini readings. Once again, thank you to Universal Spiritualism, to Veronica Jenkins for allowing me to do this, to Stace that this evening did the admin and the moderator. Thank you to all of you. I wish you a nice week ahead, and I'll see you on Saturday.